Good evening and welcome. I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Remain standing as the Patriotic noctives will be singing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic that stands nation under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Thank you very much. And at this time, we're going to introduce all our wonderful speakers.
Hi, I'm Madeline, I'm a sophomore. Hi, I'm Zoe, I'm a freshman. Hi, I'm Haley, I'm a senior. Hi, I'm Caroline, I'm a senior. Yeah, I'm a junior. Hi, I'm Gabby, I'm a junior. Hi, I'm Claire, I'm a freshman. Hi, I'm Kylie, I'm a junior.
I'm Alex, I'm a senior.
I'm Andy, I'm a senior.
And I'm Bill Arnold. I am not the group leader. And we're singing our numbers, our bass for this, and then our beatboxer. I'm not a bass or a beatboxer, but I'm gonna do my best because I'm kind of not fun without the beatboxer.
And on that note, they planned another number for us. Take it away, noctives.
This is to get you into the Halloween mood. I know it's very early, but Halloween mood. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something evil's lurking in the dark.
Lurking in the dark.
You see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but there takes a sound before you think it. It's not free. How long you right between the eyes? There, realize there's nowhere left to run. Feel the cold. Wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes. It's better. It's just imagination. Yeah.
But all the while, I'll be high.
Start to walk in their mouths parade. Always scared, always escaping because of the aliens. Their own business.
Thank you. And I want to also thank our host, the Quantic School District. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, the band was unable to attend tonight due to another conflict, so we didn't have any musical interlude during dinner. You know how that breaks my heart, but it happens. We got to hear these great guys. Okay, well, greetings and salutations, everyone. We have a jam-packed schedule tonight, so I want to get right to it. Let's get right to it, and here's the meeting by the numbers. We have 103 board members registered. 27 of the 39 Morris County districts are represented, and 4 counties are represented: Sussex, Ocean, Monmouth, and Burlington. Shout out to them. Okay, at this time, I would like to introduce your Morris County Executive Board for the 24-25 school year. First Vice President, Susie Goldier from Parsippany. Susie, there you go. Our second Vice President for Legislation, Michael Bertram from Morrisville. Our New Jersey Board of Directors Delegate, Paul Brita from Morton. And our alternate, who is Diane Morris from Mineville. Our immediate past president, our very own Irene LeFave from Newton. Our members, Rich Bruno from Harding. Jennifer Garland from Newton. Peter Dovick from Mendham. Joanne Tobias from Hanover Park Regional. Reed Meyer from Parsippany. Lisa Messick from Rockaway Township. Karen Ann Nyquist from Long Hill, and Michael Stewart from Jefferson. Thank you all. And I do want to give a shout out and a welcome give a big wave to Rob Achera, who none of this happens without him. So thank you, Rob. Rob is magic. Sometimes Rob sends out emails to the county and it says they're from me to me. And I love how he does that. It's very good. All right, let's have some Morris County recognitions. First, a very big shout out and congratulations to Rockaway Township and Montville Township for being selected as Blue Ribbon Schools. What an honor, and to Morris County. Continuing with Morris County shout outs and congratulations, the Morris County Unsung Heroes and Education Award winners. Morris County was recognized in 4 of the 12 categories. They were in the category of Outstanding Bus Driver from the Denville Board of Education, Nicole Callum. For Cafeteria and Food Service, Rosemary Chambers Jimenez from Dover Middle School. Outstanding Librarian from Pewaukee at the Hillview Elementary School, Valerie Monroe. School Security from Mount Olive, James Kafari. All winners will be recognized in Atlantic City at workshop. The ceremony will be Tuesday, October 22nd at 10:20. So I hope all of you can support. And another Morris County recognition that I would be remiss if I didn't announce. Also to be recognized at workshop from Mountain Lakes, Matea Conforti. She won for the short film Slate. She won for Best Director and Producer. Congratulations to her. And what I'm going to try to do is have that film available for us to take a look at one of our next meetings. I know we won this award, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and we had the unveiling of the film, actually from Boone, right? Yeah, it was wonderful. So hopefully we can do that again. Again, congratulations to all. These recognitions are shining examples of how Morris County sets the standards for others, because as we know, we're second to none. So keep it up, Morris County. I just want to give a real quick shout out and remind everyone that the other Morris County meeting dates are on your agenda. You can put them on your calendar to plan accordingly. Just want to remind everyone that we do have our Unsung Hero Awards ceremony that will be coming up, and we'll be looking for nominations sooner than later. And we have that Awards and Recognition Committee. We are looking for anyone who would like to help make this a bigger and better opportunity. And if anyone would like to be part of that, I know Louisa Menendez from Mount Olive will be joining us this year. Anyone wants to join us, please just give me an email, and my email is right there on the sheet, and we'll be happy to have you. Last year, we raised almost $20,000 in awards, scholarships, and don't forget those McDonald's and Amazon gift cards we gave out, but it was close to $20,000. We want to do more than that this year. So with your help, hopefully we can. And because we're Morris County, we don't think outside the box, we build a better box. So this year, what we're trying to do, had an epiphany, and I love my committee because they appease me with these epiphanies. What we're going to do is try to arrange for a ceremony for our armed forces enlistees, those seniors who will be graduating and going on to serve, going out to boot camp and becoming Marines, sailors, Navy, corpsmen, whatever. We're going to try and get them together one last time at the county level and recognize them and send them off. So I'm actually getting chills when I think about that, because I personally left for boot camp the day after I graduated from high school, so I understand. So that's our goal this year as well, to create yet another meeting for you guys. All right? Oh, I really want to get moving with this meeting because it is a wonderful topic. We have great speakers. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Karen Portolino, the current president of New Jersey School Boards Association and a past president of the Morris County School Boards Association, to say a few words.
So first, I want to acknowledge our Vice President of Legislation and Resolution, John Jackson. You all know our immediate past president. So I want to welcome everybody back. I hope you enjoyed a restful summer as well as a very successful school opening. I like to say that the benefits of attending county meetings are opportunities to learn, like tonight, network, and eat.
Because if you feed them,
They will come. That's it. But just thinking about it, to reach more members, please steal those lines and bring someone new to the next meeting. Bring someone new to the next meeting after that. And just help share with them why we're here tonight. I think it'll go a long way. Last, I just wanted to mention that the website, the NJSBA website is live. And related to that, one of my goals this year is to increase board member engagement and opportunities for board members to serve. To that end, we have approved the appointment of board members to represent NJSBA by serving on a handful of state and federal level committees. You'll hear more about this in the official remarks by Chanta Jackson. But how this will work is when the association becomes aware of the vacancy on one of the several association committees, and hopefully we can forecast this out for about 6 months. A notice will go out to make the membership aware of the need. And at that point, if a member is interested, they would go onto the website, click the Get Involved tab on the homepage, and complete and submit the form. And the form was developed by our very own Arlene Lefay. We hope this opens up more opportunities for board members to serve, not just at the county, but at the state level, the DOE, and even at the federal level.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Moving on with our agenda. We are going to have some words about workshop 2024, but before we do that, I just want to remind Morris County that we are 2 schools short of becoming 100% club members. And those 2 schools, yep, gonna rat them out. Lincoln Park in Washington. If anyone knows anyone in those 2 districts, please get them to register so we can wear the 100% tag on our badges come this convention. All right, having said that, Rob, who is speaking? Is it on video? Yep. And this one's a video.
No, he's live,
Oh, where is he?
live on video.
Oh, live on video.
Hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm just gonna go, I
That's Michael.
guess. Okay, cool. Sounds great. All right, everyone. Good evening. My name is Michael Quedal. I'm the Associate Director of Marketing for the New Jersey School Boards Association. You may know me from the webinars. You may have seen me down at workshop. It's great to hear from a lot of folks that are very familiar and hear some people being recognized. So it's great to hear some friendly names and friendly faces. So thank you all so much for allowing me to speak tonight. I only have a few minutes. I know you have a ton to get to, so I will definitely be brief. And I know that 100% of the people in that room are probably already registered for workshop. So that's really, really awesome. So workshop 2024 taking place from October 21st to the 24th, unbelievable, 3 weeks away at the HAC Convention Center is quickly approaching. District registration is obviously still open. So I know everyone's probably registered, but if you haven't, please contact your BA to register your district. I will include that district registration includes up to 25 team members. It could be IT staff, principals, HR professionals, librarians, anyone a part of your district. So definitely reach out to your BA and let the BA know to max out their district registration. All right, Monday at workshop, we have a jam-packed schedule with training starting at 10:30 a.m. If you're arriving on Monday, we recommend that you go directly to your hotel, park your car, take the jitney over to the convention center. Parking at the convention center is pretty expensive, and there are very limited spots available. That's our quote unquote move-in day for all of our sponsors and exhibitors. So a lot of those people park on Monday and then go to their hotel after they set up. So around Monday morning, it's going to be pretty packed there. So we definitely encourage you to park over at your hotel first and take the jitney over. The jitneys are running on Monday. First thing to do when you get to the convention center, as always, head down to the registration area, grab your badge. That badge is your ticket to Workshop 2024. So make sure you get that first and foremost. Another hot topic, as always, every year, lunch, complimentary lunch. Make sure you stop into one of the 3 sponsor booths who are sponsoring our lunch. You'll find out more information. I'm not going to tell what booth number. I can put it in the chat if you guys want me to, but we have 3 sponsors that are currently sponsoring the complimentary lunch. Get your ticket voucher at one of those booths, grab your complimentary lunch, head on over to the brand new area, NGSBA's Ed Talk Theater. It's really cool. We're really proud of this area. This new destination provides a space for dynamic education leaders to share inspiring 20-minute talks. So it's really a nod to the TED Talks. It's an Ed Talk, so it's going to be really, really awesome. We're really proud of that. Those are happening from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday down at Workshop 2024. If you haven't seen it already. We have a great lineup of keynote speakers down at workshop, starting on Monday with Marita Chang. She's the founder of RoboGals, and she's a Forbes 30 under 30 roboticist and entrepreneur. And that's at 12:15 p.m. And of course, on Tuesday morning, headlining the keynote event, John Quinones, the ABC News veteran, creator, and host of What Would You Do? And I actually was on a call with him earlier this week, and he's so excited to speak to everyone. He said, "Hey, if you're speaking at the county meetings, can you just do a quick plug of my What Would You Do show?" I was like, "Absolutely, I'm a huge fan. When does it come out?" He's like, "It comes on after a show called Dancing with the Stars on ABC." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, yes, I could definitely do that for you." So, quick plug for John's show. I think it's the 17th season. What Would You Do? It comes on this coming Monday after Dancing with the Stars on ABC. And then Kevin Damer, acting commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Education, will wrap up the day Tuesday, October 22nd in the Keynote Theater. There's other sessions going on at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have Sonia Manzano, otherwise known as Maria on Sesame Street. She's also a best-selling author, of course. She's going to be speaking on Wednesday, October 23rd at 2:15 p.m. Wrapping up here in a second. I know we have a lot to get to today. Back for another year, we are going to host the NJSBA ASA ASBO Awards, which will feature, of course, the board member of the year this year, superintendent of the year, the BA of the year, and the teacher of the year that was announced last week, I think. So pretty cool. And of course, the Unsung Superheroes in Education Awards, which I'm sure everyone's heard about. We will be celebrating school staff who work tirelessly behind the scenes and often go without recognition. The categories include crossing guards, bus drivers. I think it was touched upon already earlier today, but custodians, nurses, cafeteria staff, and many others. We definitely encourage you to be a part of that celebration of these school staff members. It's an incredible celebration. It's really awesome. And it's just a really good feel-good time. And that's right after John Quinones's keynote on Tuesday. So about 20 minutes after he's finished, we're going to have the Unsung Superhero celebration on the keynote stage. We have a few really new things on the exhibit floor this year. We have brand new offerings, destinations. So we definitely encourage everyone to download the workshop app for sure. That's like your main hub of everything. It also, you can download your schedule, add sessions, but really it's the most up-to-date thing we can put out there for any sort of changes or cancellations. So definitely leverage the mobile app. It's a great tool. But of course, we'll have a floor book down there as well that everyone can pick up. Navigation at workshop will never be easier. We have info booths at the registration area, obviously the agenda at a glance. We have digital directories on each floor now, the interactive map on the exhibit floor. So it's going to be great. I think that's it on my end. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone down at Workshop 2024. I want to thank everyone for listening and having me today at the county meeting. So thank you all so much. If anyone has any questions, you can obviously post it in the chat. You can always reach out to any one of us at NJSBA. We are here to serve you. And one of us will definitely be able to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you all so much.
And I'll just end that on the workshop that I will be attending my 29th workshop, and each one is better than the next. And the training opportunities are endless, and they provide a valuable opportunity for everyone. So again, Lincoln Park in Washington, you might want to come. All right. And now for greetings from the officers, it's my privilege to bring up Shanta Jackson, Vice President for Legislation and Relations. I am. Rob, they said yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you tonight in Morris County. This is my first time coming to a Morris County meeting. And I'm also happy to be welcomed by our president, Dr. Cordellino, and our immediate past president, Irene LaFay. And I also got to meet the principal, the superintendent of this wonderful school, because I was lost and he directed me to where the bathroom was. He told me that there was chicken on the buffet, so we're best friends now. But let me do what I came up here to do because I know you have a packed agenda. Typically, when officers come before you, we speak about the services that NJSBA provides. However, we're shifting gears a little bit because we want to talk about the volunteer opportunities that Dr. Cordolino mentioned. So you might say, how can I get involved in the association? I'm glad you asked. I have the details for you. So there are a variety of opportunities available to you. You could serve on NJSBA standing committee, join an ad hoc committee, task force, or even become a small group learning leader. For some context, standing committees are legislative, finance, resolution subcommittee, school finance, standards and assessment, and special education. They meet several times a year, and they play a critical role in shaping the association's direction. Membership in these committees is by presidential appointment, but we encourage those interested to submit their names for consideration. We also have ad hoc task forces. They are usually formed to address specific topics. Some of those topics have been special education, school security, and student achievement. They are typically composed of members with expertise in said area, and they stay active until the work is completed. Now, the last area is perhaps one of the most important because these are the people who train our new board members at our weekend board member sessions. Is there anyone in the room who's participated in a weekend board member training? How amazing are they, right? So this group of people, they are the mentors and the trainers for this session, and they are our group leaders. They help guide the new board members, and they contribute to leadership development across the board. So if any of these roles spark your interest, we encourage you to visit the website, the new website, and you can go on the homepage, scroll down to the membership section and click Get Involved and complete the volunteer form. So we truly hope that you will consider availing yourself to some of these opportunities because you are the most valuable part of this organization. And thank you for allowing me to join you tonight and enjoy the rest of the program.
All right, let's give her a big Morris County thank you. Yeah, all right. All right, Morris County, go to the website and get involved. Let's show them how it's done. All right, we're supposed to have a few words from our fearless leader, Irene Lefebvre, regarding the ELF Foundation, but she said in the interest of time, she will defer her comments till another meeting. So thank you, Irene, for that. However, I am now going to introduce Irene Lefebvre and Paul Brita, who put this program together, and they're going to take us into the program. But before they start the program, Paul, who just happens to be our representative to the Board of Directors, will give a very, 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 very brief explanation of what happened at the last meeting. And Irene's going to be here to make sure it's very brief.
When it comes to Bernadette, it's always Paul very brief Rita. Every single time. I don't know what to make of that. So how much do you want to know about the last Board of Directors meeting?
That's 1 minute worth.
1 minute. 1 minute is fine. Okay, so first of all, I'm our county's representative to the Board of Directors. We are in a great county that kind of develops a lot of leadership at NJSBA, like Irene and Karen and lots of people. So, but I'm somebody that feel free to ask me questions if anything ever comes up that you want to know about your association. So we heard that the auditor's report was completed and the books are in good order. So that's always important. And we also approved a new contract for our executive director, Dr. Tim Purnell. Workshop has already been discussed, but we talk a lot about workshop, and there's really more and more to say. And who said that it gets better every year? It gets better every year, and this is going to be another great year. There are 2 counties that are 100%, and as Bernadette said, we are not one of them. So we want to do that. Mandated training changes. Governance 1 changed last year. This year, Governance 2 has been changed. and it places a bigger emphasis on policy. So if you have board members who are reelected for their first time, they'll be going into governance too, and it'll be a new program. No?
If you have board members that are serving their second
Second
year
year.
of their first term,
Term.
they're going into governance too.
That's why, right, good. Is that, who all's on NJSBA Connections? There's 4,800 people in the state on NJSBA Connections. Ray Pinney is our expert, resident expert on that. And he's done some, added some affinity groups to that you'll want to know about for new board members and also for board presidents. So thank you. And on with the show. Let's see here. So Irene and I were asked, so your board of directors of Morris County get together every summer and we decide on what we're going to do for programs. And this is the first one of the new year that Irene and I work together on. So we're pleased to bring this to you. And Irene, you're going to start us off with our first part of the program.
So in answer to the need for mental health services for students throughout the state of New Jersey, the administration decided to go with a system which we now call NJ4S because it stands for New Jersey Statewide Student Support Services. Takes me forever to figure out what the 4 S's are, but State Student Support Services. As I looked online, almost every district in Morris County is a member of Morris County's portion of NJ4S. It's a way to provide mental health services to the districts, provide resources to the districts, and provide opportunities for services. So the people who can best answer questions about it and tell us about it are the people who are providing the services. So right now, I would like to introduce to you Tracy Capicelli. Did I do good? All right. And Tracy will introduce her cohort.
Yeah, thank you, Irene. And thank you for fitting us on the schedule today. I know it was very last minute, so we appreciate it, and we won't take up much of your time. Again, my name is Tracy Capicelli. I'm the director of NJ4S, and thank you, Irene, for saying the entire title to save me some time. And this is David Mills. He's one of my colleagues. Now, we're also building the box, and we're building the box through education, whether that's educating our community. So that could be parents, caregivers, community partners. We're also educating students and faculty because it's all about our youth and building up protective factors and building up resiliency. And we do that by providing professional development education to school faculty. And we do that by also providing evidence-based programs to students. We work with students in middle school and high school. We also provide counseling because the state recognized that it's wonderful to build resiliency and protective factors throughout all our youth, but there are some youth that are struggling now. So how are we going to help them? And that's where the brief counseling comes in. So we provide brief counseling to students, again, middle and high school, and we provide that until they could get connected to either a private therapist, a community behavioral health center. So we see them through that. Whether that be a few sessions or more than a few sessions, we don't stop seeing that youth until their first appointment in the community. And David is one of our supervisors to our education program for the community and for the students and faculty. So I'm going to turn it over to him to talk a little bit more about the programs we offer.
Thanks, Tracy. So like I already said, a lot of which is amazing. So we've already been doing this work on big part of what we do is our prevention education. So we have 12 prevention specialists who come into classrooms and in smaller group settings to provide these programs to students. And we also do professional development. So this is a really cool menu that we've developed of all of our programs that we can provide. So a school representative can look at this and say, Y-Track sounds like a really great social emotional learning program for students to help build resilience and, like inner self-worth. And they'll reach out to us, we, come up with a plan to provide that program, and then before you know, we're in the classroom working with the students, so this is a really great, resource, and we're excited to provide it.
I thought she was cutting us off.
Well, that's really, that's really all I have. And it's all free, so that's amazing, right? That's all I got.
Yeah.
So thank you all for, having us.
One last thing I do want to say, is we're going to be sending out slides of some additional information about our programming, along with the website, so you can really take a deeper dive on some of the things we're doing, some of the education programs we're doing. We also have a podcast too, for people that work with youth. We did, one of our most recent ones was, having a school counselor come in from a school in Morris County and talk to back to school jitters. And again, not only are we building the box, but we're trying to think outside the box. So we also have a commercial. So if you live in Morris or Sussex counties, you might actually hear it. You could also see that on our website. So again, if you have any questions, our contact information is on our website, and my contact information is going to be on the slides that Rob will be sending out. And thank you.
This is valuable. And questions, now we know we can ask the superintendent and administrators tonight about what kind of things, services we're making use of. Okay, so.
Thank
that was the
you.
main reason having this talk.
Thank you.
Call your next. Thank you.
I actually worked for Good Grief for a period of time as part-time during the pandemic, and it's a wonderful organization that supports families that are experiencing grief, and they have wonderful programs in the schools. We also asked Annette to speak tonight because the comprehensive health and physical education standards now include grief. Those standards, to my knowledge, have not yet been developed, but Good Grief is going to be a fantastic asset for us all to know about when that happens. So Annette, tell us more about Good Grief. Please welcome Annette.
I've never spoken on a mic before. I feel like I should start singing and doing all kinds of stuff for you guys. First, I want to say thank you for having me. I come from a place with great gratitude and great respect for all the things that you guys do.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Can you snap this on, because they can't hear the virtual people?
Oh, sorry, virtual people. I didn't mean to cut you out. I can't play it on. All inclusive. Is that good? Okay. I come from a place of gratitude. I myself was a former educator. I taught preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I stopped at third because, as you can see, I'm only 4'11". They're all way bigger than me. And I was like, this is just not going to work, right? In addition to that, I'm also a parent. I have 3 beautiful, beautiful legends. My son is right here with us right now. And they go. He does. He does. He sings. He dances. Oh, let me not do that because he won't take me home. But yeah, I have 3 kids, so I understand. You know, I wear those 2 hats, right? The hat of a mom, the hat of an educator, and now the hat of a grief educator. So I work for Good Grief. I'm their training and curriculum manager. For those of you who don't know, Good Grief offers free and unlimited peer support to children who have lost a parent, caregiver, or loved one. And we do it in 2 of our centers. We have one in Morristown and one in Princeton. Again, these peer support groups are free and unlimited. They can come in, they can leave, they can come back. We have found that a lot of the students that, sorry, not students, that's my educator brain. A lot of the participants that come, sometimes, you know, they're going off to college or they're doing something else, and all of a sudden that wave of grief comes back. So we welcome them with open arms, and they never get a bill from us. In addition to that, they come in 7 o'clock, we feed them dinner. That's one other thing that they don't have to worry about, and then they disperse into their groups. So here's our mission. We build resiliency in children, we strengthen families, and we empower communities to grow from loss and adversity. Our work is mainly with our, I'm waiting for it, with our family night services where we do nights of support. It runs as a schedule as a school schedule from September to June, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays in our center. We also have our Good Grief Spring Institute in March. We also offer professional development training, parent and caregiver education, as well as free community webinars. And as one of the few people in our organization that speak Spanish, I can also come out to your schools and deliver these trainings in Spanish. But the reason why we're here today, right, is because of this grief bill that was signed January 4th of this year with a lot of backing from Senator Bramnick and our former executive director, Mark Durham. And it really, I'm just going to read it straight from this slide because sometimes I mess it up and people are like, oh, it's A5. I'm like, sorry. So this was signed earlier in the year, and it requires school districts to provide instruction on grief as part of their health and physical education for grades 8 through 12. The bill names the physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms of grief, coping mechanisms, and techniques for handling grief and loss, and for students like in-school support, mental health crisis support, and individual group therapy. Now, as they said earlier, there are no standards for this right now, but I want to let you all know that the Department of Education is not going to ding you. You're not going to get CUSAC. I think there's like one sentence on the website, but that's why organizations like Good Grief and other grief organizations have really started to reach out to schools and let them know like, hey, we're here, we're a grief organization, we go to schools, we make sure they're more grief informed. We've gone to hospitals, we've gone to the funeral industry, anywhere where there is a loss or an adversity and there is a child involved, Good Grief likes to be there, right? It sounds a little morbid, but I promise it's a good idea. You can go to the next one. So before I get into the Good Grief physical education training that we have, we just added our advanced clinician training, and this is a full day experience. We usually have this no more than 12, no less than 5. And this is more for your school counselors, your SACs, maybe your bullying specialists, right? Where they just need a little bit more than the foundation that we offer. We'll go to the next one. Here we have our Grief for Health educators, and this is a full day of training for health educators where they discuss the bill, they talk about what it would mean for them with their standards. We explore the multidimensional nature of grief. We talk about the skills and the strategies that they already have with them, right? Because we've all experienced loss at one point or another in our lives. It might not have been a death, but you know, maybe we moved, maybe there was a divorce. Usually the first things that we deal with is like a pet loss. And if you're anything like me, before I worked at Good Grief, my children thought that goldfish lived for many, 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 many years. I just kept swapping them out. Don't do that. It's not good. You know, we have to name it so that we can tame it, right? We have to let our children know that there is something that comes and something that goes, and we use very concrete language when we do that. What we do with the Grief for Health educators is we go into, we brainstorm how this lesson's going to work. We have them, you can go to the next slide, guys. We have them really dig deep within themselves and think about how has grief affected you personally, right? Because it is a very personal experience, and we bring with it when we talk to our children, right? So if we have this aspect on grief where it's like this big elephant in the room, we don't talk about it, then that child probably is not going to be able to build that resiliency like we want them to, right? So what we try to do is kind of destigmatize this. So we have them think about how they were with teenagers, you know, how was it when so-and-so broke up with you? I know in high school, I told my mother, that's it. I was going to marry him. You don't understand. I don't even remember his name, but I knew that I loved him. So, you know, we really think about what are those things that these teenagers are going through that now as adults, we're kind of like, oh, that's so frivolous, but we were there, right? And we remember that hurt and all the ice cream I consumed because I was so sad. And I can't even remember his name. So we go into our teenage self, and then thank you. Then we give them a sample of the grief curriculum that we have, right? We give them an opportunity to sit in groups, to discuss things with each other, to say, hey, I think this will fit in block 1. Well, you know what? I think it'll fit in block 2, right? Really get that collaboration going. When we first found out that this was going to fall on the laps of our health and PE teachers, a lot of people were like, oh, But I have great faith because these health and PE teachers are the ones that really have to have those uncomfortable conversations with the kids, right? They have to, let them know about relationships, let them know about STIs and things like that. So I have great faith in our health and PE teachers. I think that they're many of our unsung heroes. But with that being said, they go into this grief curriculum that you'll also get with the slides. And we start talking about, what are those physical manifestations of grief? What are those emotional? What are those intellectual manifestations of grief? And a carousel activity where we all discuss it and we go deep and further into it. We piloted this in Newark with 180 physical education teachers across their entire district. You will also get that impact report in your slides where you can see how the school benefited, how the district benefited. In addition to that, we've also piloted this in Trenton, where we trained their parent liaisons, we trained their school counselors, and we trained their physical education teachers as well as their vice principals and principals, right? Because we all need to be on the same page. It's really easy to give you a mandate and be like, okay, bye, make sure you get it right. But we really try to just help them see that this is not something that should be stigmatized. Death comes and it happens. It's this big elephant in the room. We just want to shrink it and make it so that it's more comfortable for them to talk about it. Oh, that's all I have. I do want to mention, I don't know if Casey left already, and we did partner with NJ4S, and we did a few of their hubs all over the state of New Jersey. We trained them to be more grief informed. They did our advanced clinician training. They did our roots to resilience training. They did everything, right? All the soups and nuts. And they also did our good grief groups training. So if there's anything that you guys have questions on, if you would like for us to come to your schools and speak to the parents about this grief bill, because sometimes culturally that might be something really terrifying to them because they don't know. My son has my business cards that he'll be giving out to you guys. And I just want to thank you all for having me. I keep this because then I have a conversation in the car.
Now I have the honor to introduce Newbridge, okay? And I hate to admit it, but Newbridge has been around for 60 years, and I happen to remember their first fun run at which my oldest son participated at the behest of Glenn Moore, who was a teacher at Booton High School at the time and was very involved in the initial stages. So it was, but 60 years ago, so.
Yes.
So I will turn it over to you. You have to stand near this mic so the people at home can hear.
Okay, no problem. I will stand still.
Or else we have to pin it on you.
That's fine. I'm good. I'm good behind the podium. Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Jacobson. I'm from Newbridge Services, as Irene mentioned. Newbridge Services, if you're not familiar, is a community mental health agency that offers various services in the community. Outpatient counseling. We have group homes for people with severe and persistent mental illness. We have residences. We have programs for seniors. We have an alternative high school education program called Jobs Plus for students that might have dropped out of high school and want to get their high school diploma. So those are some of the things that we offer. I'm here to talk about one of our really exciting things that we offer. And Tracy will vouch for me. We do this together a lot, and it's youth mental health first aid. And what is youth mental health first aid? So mental health first aid is a program that came to the United States from Australia back in 2008. It was developed in Australia, and then they brought it to the United States. And then that was an adult program, and we still have that. We do those trainings, but then they updated it to address children, address youth, ages 12 to 18. So it's about recognizing the signs and symptoms when a youth might be experiencing a mental health challenge and knowing kind of how to approach that youth. There's a whole action plan that we teach that, helps a person to be able to approach that youth and really be able to get them the support that they need. It's a great program. It's for anybody, really. We have done the program in various school districts, most recently, we've trained about 250 staff members at the Montville School District. So, and it really is very helpful for teachers. It's not just for teachers, it's for any staff, any person that works with youth. It could be a cafeteria worker, it could be a bus driver, those kind of things. And some of the stuff that we cover in the course, it's a hybrid course. So there's a 2-hour portion, online portion that the individual completes prior to the instructor-led session. And the instructor-led session is about 4 hours. Very often we do it during professional development, that kind of thing. But some of the things that we talk about are what are the common signs and symptoms of the mental health challenges that youth might be facing, or a substance use challenge, and how to recognize that. And then also we talk about, how to interact with an adolescent or a youth that's in crisis. So we talk about recognizing those signs and symptoms, but we also equip the participants with how they can help in a crisis situation. Really, mental health first aid is best done as an early intervention program. It's about recognizing what those signs and symptoms are and intervening before it becomes a crisis situation. But we cover topics about trauma, about the resiliency that youth can possess, and how to foster that resiliency. And that's pretty much it about what the program is. But so that's it. That's all I gotta say.
So this program was kind of coming together as recently as last night. So and Rob is really great because he's really flexible to make sure these things happen. So I want to thank the folks who've come out tonight to help us with this. Between 12 and 22% of school-aged children have a diagnosable mental health disorder. So that's either 1 of every 10 or as much as 1 out of every 4. So these are important services for us to be aware of and be familiar with and be able to take back with us. The program is centered on mental health services available to the districts, but when it comes to the awareness of mental health, that's our responsibility. That's something that we can address at the board table. There are 6 districts in Morris County who have identified as stigma-free communities, stigma-free school communities. Those are Chester, Hanover Park Regional High School District, Hanover Township School District, Montville School District, Wharton Borough School District, and Unity Charter School. So to be identified as stigma-free, your board would have approved a resolution that reads in part, our school district is committed to creating public interest and open dialogue about stigmas, raise awareness of the disease of mental illness, and create a culture wherein students who have the disease of mental illness feel supported by the community and feel free to seek treatment for the disease without fear of a stigma, so recovery can begin. So there again, there are 6, but there's obviously a lot of room in the county for more districts to get on board with that. And so to tell us more about stigma-free communities, this is Kenzie Fosco, Addictions Coordinator for the Department of Human Services.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Kenzie, and I'm the Addiction Services Coordinator for Morris County.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
So I'm just going to be going over a brief overview of our Morris County Stigma-Free Initiative. So the Morris County Stigma-Free Communities Initiative is a countywide program that aims to eradicate the stigma associated with mental illness and substance use disorders. Our goal is to create an environment where affected individuals are supported in their efforts to achieve wellness and recovery. So we are dedicated to raising awareness of these illnesses. We do have a website dedicated to our stigma-free initiative. So that's just a screenshot. And then I also included a QR code for our website. some of our goals this year was to promote what stigma is among our youth. So we partnered with MJ Forest to create this flyer. It goes over what mental health stigma is, some examples of it, and ways stigma. So these flyers will be handed out at MJ Forest cabling events, at different schools throughout the county. And then our second goal this year is to get the remaining 4 municipalities to pass a stigma-free resolution. We are in discussion with Harding and Wharton, but if anyone knows anyone from Florham Park and Riverdale, feel free to let me know. And then we do hold quarterly virtual meetings. So our next one's going to be Tuesday, December 9th at 1:30 p.m. via WebEx. And if you would like to attend, you can email my colleague Anna Marie Hess, and her email is provided right there. So thank you everyone for having me tonight. Thank you.
So if you go on that website, there's a toolkit for, really it's for municipalities and one for churches. There's not one specific to schools. So what you do with this program is really up to you in your district. And so I'm a member of the Wharton Borough Board of Education. And we've had a lot of fun and some really memorable times that we've created for our kids, and making sure that they understand that what this is really about is that they feel comfortable and they know that they can ask for help when they need it. So what we did is we invited 3 of these 6 schools to speak about what they're doing as part of the Stigma-Free Initiative. So first of all is Maria Carroll, Superintendent of Schools for Hanover Park Regional High School District.
Good evening, everyone. While we're waiting for the presentation to load, as Paul, thank you, Paul, for having me. Thank you for having me today. My name is Maria Carroll. I'm Superintendent of Schools at the Hanover Park Regional High School District. I actually have been in only high schools, even though I am only 5'1", like in that. I am 5'1", and I've since spent my entire career, 27 years in high schools. I served both the Hanover Park High School, serving East Hanover and Florham Park, and Whitney Front High School, serving Hanover Township. So what I'm here to do tonight is talk to you about some of the rationale and some of the initiatives we have brought forward when we became a stigma-free school system. So back in 2019, we initiated the process to become a stigma-free school system to eradicate substance abuse and mental illness disorders within our school system. And what we have done is what I'm going to talk to you this morning, and I'm going to talk to you this afternoon about the concept of wellness. And that's what we've done, is we've always focused on the positive and not the negative. And we really wanted to bring about how it is to be a healthy adolescent in a high school environment. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about what our wellness program entails, and then what are some of the impacts that we have seen moving forward in our program that we initiated not too long ago. So as I mentioned before, we initiated the Stigma-Free Initiative back in 2019. And in 2021, the world changed significantly within those 2 years. So we really had to refocus and identify what our concept of wellness was going to be. And wellness is not just students being healthy in body, but they're being healthy in their mind, they're being healthy in their spirit. What that base is going to look like from an adolescent is going to ensure that that student is going to be able to build upon successes later on in their high school career and later on in life, in order for them to project into the future, into a healthy reality. So what we have done is we've talked about the mental health crisis. We talked about the pandemic impact. We talked about the student pressures, and we talked about the parent and teacher burnout. Being a parent is hard. Being a teacher is hard. I have a 14-year-old and a 19-year-old. So I'm in the thick of the adolescent mindset right now, both in my household and at my job, okay? So supporting not only the student, but supporting also the parents, supporting also the teachers in these endeavors in order to make our children healthy. And obviously, when you have student development moving forward in a positive direction, staff morale does increase as well. So what our wellness program has done what we had done is we made a concerted effort to focus on a wellness program by hiring a wellness coordinator. And that wellness coordinator is someone that's associated with the child study team and also with our school counselors. And what we do is her primary focus is to develop a wellness program for our students, for our staff, and for our parents to positively impact their academic performance, improve student outcomes, foster those school relationships and build staff morale, bolster a social, academic, and healthier way of living. Obviously, that then increases student and staff engagement, and it empowers students to recognize who they are and what they want to become. So what we're going to do is we'll talk about how we then look at this wellness program, because it's not a one-shot deal. It's about how we infuse wellness into our curriculum, into our initiatives having to do with our character education, into our co-curricular programs, student, faculty, and parent programming. So that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about tonight, is how each pieces of that wellness program touch every one of our aspects of our high school programs. So if we look at curriculum and lesson planning, we have wellness courses taught by teachers who are certified teachers that are also considered adjuncts with Rutgers University. And they are programs on courses specifically with dynamics of healthcare, fundamentals of health and wellness, and scientific principles of nutrition. Those courses, like I said, are dual credit programs with Rutgers University, and our staff members teach those courses on our campuses. We also have an elective mindfulness, resilience, and wellness, which is very well subscribed to. It's a semester elective where students choose to figure out how their mental health and how their well-being is impacting them in order to have that positive outcome later on in life. We have an independent reading initiative. We have our English teachers where, you know, when you and I were in high school, English, there were certain books that were assigned at certain times of the year. Now we have those books, but we also have student choice, because we have found that student choice is very important for them to be able to fulfill their needs and what they need to do for their future. We also have push-in opportunities in classes about self-care and mindfulness. Our wellness coordinator goes in and she pushes into certain elective classes and certain programs. Sometimes teachers will invite her in as well. And what we do is we talk about what we need to do to be healthy, what we need to do to be resilient, what we need to do to have grit in order to move forward successfully in our educational career. And then obviously, we build social and emotional learning into our curriculum and lessons through self-advocacy, responsible decision-making, social awareness, and relationships. One of the pinnacles of our district is our character education program. We are a national district of character as recognized by the Character Education Partnership. We have 6 pillars of character that we demonstrate across the board, having to do with our trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. We have a program specifically called Freshman Seminar, where all of our freshmen come into the high school in the fall semester of their freshman year, and they talk about how those pillars affect their being and how those pillars are going to impact them moving forward to make responsible decisions both inside school and outside school. That freshman seminar program talks about the student. First, they identify the student as the individual. Then they talk about how that student associates with the class, how that class associates with the school, and how that school associates with the community. So it really is a developmental process for that student to understand, yes, they are one individual, but they are part of a much larger picture. Part of that freshman seminar program also introduces our students to service learning. Service learning we see is not community service. It is a piece of community service, but it's really learning about what they need to do in order to create cause for the greater good. And one of my favorite service learning opportunities had to do with an arcade. It was called Arcading for Autism. We had a computer graphics class, and we had a graphic design class that come together. They created video games, and students, they learned about what autism was, and they learned about how they can positively impact by having collections being brought to autism. So what they had done is they made these video games, and they had the video games set up in all the computers in the library. And students came in, whether it be before school, after school, during lunches, or study hall, and they paid $0.25 to play a video game. And all that money went to autism research, which I thought was an awesome type of cause for students to give back. But it also had them learn about what they needed to do and what they could do based on the academic skill bases that they were acknowledging in their classes. Character education is something that's integrated into every piece of curriculum that we have at Hanover Park Regional. It's not just a one-shot deal through the October Awareness Month, but they are things that are integrated throughout our 4 quarters of the program. This has taken off so much in that we have students now that are generating clubs, and we have volunteer advisors that are coming across. So many of these clubs are not clubs that are sponsored by our association for sight-limited positions. These are volunteer clubs, Minds Over Matter. They came forward because they had causes with our wellness coordinator that they felt would be beneficial, so they started a club. The book club was something that was just generated organically out of conversations from our independent reading initiative. All these types of clubs were different co-curricular programs that came up because of student interest. The other thing is that student focus groups, I meet with students regularly. I meet with them semester-based in all grade levels across both schools. And I look at horizontal and I look at vertical types of trends that I see within our student body. And those focus groups help us go back and reflect as to what we need to do in order to do our jobs better to better help our students. Because as you know, in this ever-changing world, adolescents are changing by the minute. Social media is just rapidly moving forward, and we're going to have to pivot and adjust every step of the way in order to meet those students' needs. We also have wellness days for students that are run out of our physical education department, but we also have a staff wellness committee where our wellness coordinator meets with staff who are interested in what she has to offer in order for them to bolster their selves and their well-being. So that a picture that we have up there, that's a picture of one of our wellness spaces at one of our high schools. So what they do is we do not force students to meet with the wellness coordinator. The wellness coordinator is there to meet with students on an individual basis, and then she also hosts groups that are student-driven. She has topics that are generated out of the students, and then she puts those topics out to the entire student and parent community, and then they sign up and they participate in some of these sessions. And what they really want to do is identify what we need to do in order to make a healthier Hanover Park Regional High School student from a mind, body, and spirit perspective. And what we do is we talk about what those social connections are going to look like outside of the technology that they have in their hands at every time of their day. We talk about how they need to build up their resilience in order to move forward, because they are going to be told no at times, and they are going to be dealing with things that they may not like to deal with. So how do they build up that resilience? How do they build up that grit in order to move forward in a positive way? Managing anxiety is a huge piece of what our wellness coordinator and our counselors and child-friendly team members do both in individual and group sessions. Those are all pieces that are done through our wellness groups that really have been born out of a lot of student interest that we've had at both our high schools. Obviously, with faculty and support, our faculty has bought into this program in a very strong way in that they have their own wellness groups. They're coming to us with ideas and initiatives. They're having conversations with the counselors and child studies members and the wellness coordinators to say, we see this, we need this. And then we're having good dialogue about how we can not only bolster the academic focus, but then also bolster the mental health and social well-being of our students as well. And then as for community outreach and programming, I mentioned earlier on that our wellness coordinator doesn't just speak with our students. She has quarterly meetings with our parents that are evening meetings. In fact, we have a meeting coming up in 2 weeks, perfectly imperfect parenting. And there's no manual for parenting. I heard someone earlier, they don't give you a manual when you have a baby. And I know this for a fact. Child number 1 is not the same as child number 2, not the same as child number 3. So therefore, what what we need to do is we need to educate our parents just as much as we educate our teachers over how we work with our children and both inside the home and at school in order to allay fears that may be coming forward, because their experiences as adolescents are very different than what our experiences were as adolescents. We have obviously workshops on academic planning and college planning. And then we also have community research sources. We work with Tracy Papicelli and her team very closely. We have Good Grief come in, and we've worked with them in the past as well. We use those community resources to our advantage because we know it takes a village, and we know we may not have all the answers to develop that child, but we want to develop each and every one of them in the most positive way possible. What we have seen is we have seen our students increasing student engagement in classes. We have seen them self-advocate for themselves. We have seen staff morale and student engagement and staff engagement go up. We have seen parent involvement in academic planning. They are coming to evening meetings. They are getting involved. They are asking questions. And we've seen that through not only just anecdotal data, but also we have had some climate surveys done over the past 4 years that we have seen an increase in that engagement from a student, parent, and teacher perspective, which is beneficial for us. So here are some of the resources that we've used in order to develop this program. And if you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to see me. Thank you very much for having me.
That's really an example of what it looks like to be committed to student wellness, right? That's an amazing program. There was a point in time when I would have thought, as a parent and maybe even as a school board member, that, you know, a lot of this really should be taking place in the home. But our educators, they have to deal with whatever walks through the door every morning, and every day is a different day. And so that's why I'm forever just in amazement of what educators do. And so that's a wonderful program to hear about. Connie Sanchez is the Executive Director of Unity Charter School, and she'd like to tell us about her program.
So thank you, Michael Portis, for hosting us, as well as New Jersey School Boards Association for inviting us to be here. So much like Carol, Maria, we started back in 2019. We actually helped our town become stigma-free as well. That was part of our initiative. We did a work. We were really glad that we had done so much pre-work heading into COVID. We were very fortunate to have many programs already in place as we went into COVID, which helped our students really not experience any learning loss as we came out of it. In 2010, as the world changed, next slide, please. In 2010, the world changed, and so we wanted to go beyond the stigma-free policy. And so as a board, we adopted a policy that really focused on social justice and educational equity, because we wanted to make sure that every student that walked in through our doors felt like they were a part of our community, felt like they were valued and they mattered regardless of how they showed up to learning every single day. So stigma-free is an environment where staff, families, and our students feel safe regardless of mental health challenges, learning disabilities, or socioeconomic background. And I highlight and underline staff, and I'm really glad that Maria pointed that out as well, because our staff need to feel just as incorporated into the wellness as our students, as well as their families. Our goal at Unity is to eliminate any sense of shame or judgment that's attached to the struggles that students or families may face. Our why. Stigma-free allows us to eliminate barriers. We know that students that show up and feel any sort of barrier cannot access learning. And so we want to make sure that we eliminate all barriers so students can be present and can be fully immersed in the learning process. So by creating a stigma-free environment, we know that students and staff ultimately are better teachers, their academics improve, and they feel part of a larger community. So what we've seen is we've seen our grades go up, students who are in honor roll goes up, and our attendance has become spectacular. It's in most schools, the elementary school has the better attendance. For us, it's our elementary school that actually has a better attendance. They feel really connected with their teachers, and they feel really connected to the programs that we have, which I'll discuss in a little bit more detail. So as educators, and I want to read this, as educators, we basically have one job. Our responsibility is to care for and nurture each individual who enters our doors and to help them understand their value and their place in the world. When students know that they matter, they do better, they try harder. One of the key things that we do every single year is we perform a basque assessment on all our students from 5th grade all the way up to 8th grade. We want to know if there's any sort of anxiety, depression issues that we need to be aware of. And that's been really valuable because many times the students that may appear to be completely fine, totally integrated, and just having a great time are the ones that we've noticed come in at heightened levels of depression or anxiety, which allows us to put in place outside services as well as inside counseling to make sure that they can address whatever issues are keeping them from learning and integrating into our school community. We do the basque assessment in the beginning of the year. We're actually going to be doing it in approximately 2 weeks, and then we reassess in the spring to see if there's any changes. We also assess as needed. For example, today I had a student who's experiencing, who is unhoused, moving around a lot. Mom has been out of the picture for a couple months, and we were just talking about his day because he's had some behaviors that were concerning. And he told us that, you know, we asked him why he wasn't an aftercare with us, and he said he really doesn't want to be in it this year. He just wants to go home, eat, and sleep, which is very concerning to us. So we immediately referred him to the child study team to see if we could do the basque assessment sooner rather than later, so we wouldn't have to wait the additional 2 weeks. So our mental health education is incredibly important. We also integrate our morning meeting. All our students start outside from kindergarten to 5th grade to have morning meetings so they can get to know each other. They can just be children, play, and we can assess who's integrated, who's not, who's participating, who's not. From there, every single student from kindergarten to 8th grade goes into class meeting. They sit around, they have specific lessons that they do, things that they discuss, and they discuss their problems within the school as well as within their classroom. And they come up with solutions together to make sure that they're fully integrated again and that they feel like they're being heard by the administrators, by their teachers, and by each other. Our counseling team, we have an EBS, emotional behavioral support team. They meet every single Monday. Students that need additional supports, they're discussed. We follow the full INRS process for behavior, just like we do for academics. At times, there are no academic issues, but we know they need additional behavioral supports. And so those students get a behavioral plan that helps them integrate until they no longer need it. And that they have a discussion, our dean of students, our directors of learning acceleration, and our school counselor meet every single Monday to make sure they have exactly what they need. We also have partnerships with our parents. We have a positive discipline coordinator who has a parenting workshop for all parents. We invite our attorney to come in, and we invite our attorney not because he's legal and boring, but he's actually very entertaining and he knows a lot. And he actually is a great resource for our parents. So we make sure to have regular workshops available for our parents as well. We also, this year, we initiated a QR code. A QR code, they're spread throughout school. Anybody can scan the QR code and it goes into a form. It's anonymous and they can tell us about anything that they see that may be concerning. It can be a teacher about a peer. It can be a student about a peer, a student about a teacher, anything that they feel they want to bring to our attention. And they may not necessarily want to sit with us and tell us about. They scan the QR code with their Chromebook or after school with their cell phone, and we get an alert that we need to check in with a specific student for whatever issues that they're having. We also implemented Safe Club back in 2017, and that's students advocating for equality. That club meets every single week during lunchtime, and they talk about issues of inclusivity. That's how we had all our doors marked, safe place for students to come and talk to whoever they wanted. That's also the gender neutral bathroom also initiated from Safe Club. And they talk about everything, but the biggest thing that I like is they take a political subject or they take on something controversial and they task themselves with understanding the other side. So they can engage in conversations to broaden their perspective and give them a view from a different lens on issues that are going on in the world around them. We also have, you can go to the next slide. So Minding Your Mind, we're a small school, so our resources are limited. So we team up with organizations like Minding Your Mind that come in and do some of our assemblies. That's an organization that does an assembly for us free of charge. Mental Health Association, we've taken advantage of working with them all of last year. They've been absolutely amazing. Again, they're free of charge. Their resources are amazing. And I really suggest that everyone take advantage of it. And then when we have assemblies, we make sure that the assembly speaker is someone that's relevant. So for example, we have Brendan Novak, who is an MTV personality. He was found by Tony Hawk. And so anytime you can get someone like that the students can connect with and realize like this person who I thought was this big celebrity on TV really has the same problems that I'm dealing with right now. It makes it so personal and they connect with them, and they're so much more open to having discussions with adults when they see that that other people are experiencing similar problems. Toby Morse was also someone that we brought on, and we do a lot of screening, because sometimes when you invite a MTV personality, you don't know which way they're gonna go. But the kids do love it, and they feel like they're getting something special. Lastly, our staff. We've done a lot with our staff. We've been fully staffed. We retained 90% of our staff last year, which is incredible. We do a lot of training. What we do is interwoven into the curriculum and everything we do. One of our favorite activities is we take every single student in the school. We give every single adult that works in the school 6 dots. And they go around and look at the pictures of the students and put a dot next to whoever they have a connection with. And what we see is some students who are really popular, have a ton of dots, and then we'll notice that a student may not have a single dot or 2. And so that tells us that there's somebody here who's lacking an adult connection. And so we go ahead and we then make it a point to connect with those students. We also have the students fill out who they feel they have a connection with via a form, and we're surprised and who they want a connection with. And sometimes there are students that fill out they want a connection with me, and I've been thinking the whole year they don't care for me. And so that just tells me to go ahead and connect with that student. And it really is very entailing to see that almost all our students feel that they have at least one adult in the building that they feel they can trust. And at times it's been our kitchen lady, at times it's been our nurse, but as long as they feel they have an adult that they have a connection with, we know that they feel comfortable going to speak with someone. Teacher wellness has been at the forefront of everything we do. Again, we have a personal coach that they can speak to, Ryan Benz. He hiked the whole Appalachian Trail, left a corporate job, and has really worked with our teachers on doing things like having sit spots, finding balance, disconnecting from social media, because our teachers have addictions just like the students do. And he's available to meet with them as they feel necessary. We have wellness money that we give them, and they can use it for anything that might give them mental wellness and relief. They can go for massage if they want. They can go for Reiki. It's really up to them what they want to use it for. It's not a lot of money, but it makes a difference that we are prioritizing that. We give gym reimbursements, and then we encourage them to take walks during their preps and during their lunch. We'll invite teachers out as administrators to walk around. We have a little cul-de-sac. We'll walk around with them. Next week is a week of respect. So we're inviting all the teachers out for a sit spot activity, so they can actually then do it with their students as well. So it's nothing really out of the box, that can't easily be replicated. But we make it a priority, and we make sure that our teachers feel valued just as our students and families. The last thing is we make sure that we have a fully staffed child study team, that we have a school psychologist, LDTC, school counselor, dean of students, and director of learning acceleration, so that the services that we need for our students are there, and so that we have subject matter experts that we can consult with, because I don't know all the answers. My teachers don't know all the answers. And by having these different experts, we can connect with them as needed. So be more than willing to share anything, and thank you all for having me.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, what strikes me, there's many of us in the room who've been board members for a long time, right? And so we always talk about student achievement, student achievement, student achievement. And I hear the conversation shifting towards student wellness, student wellness, student wellness. But at one hand kind of washes the other, right? And there's more learning going on when our kids are healthier. And so this is about education, this is about learning, and it's about safety too, that all things that we aspire to. So Robin Gabriel is our board president in Wharton, and we are also a stigma-free school. So she'll talk about some of the conversations that we have at our board table and how we focus on our school's culture.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here tonight, and I really appreciate listening to all the ideas that other school districts are doing, right? We all can't do it all, so this is a good forum for us to share things that we are doing. So like Paul said, we are a stigma-free school district. Yesterday, we had our second annual stigma-free walk with our students and our staff, which was pretty amazing. So from kindergarten to 8th grade, they all come out and, we do a walk through our town. And the teachers are encouraging the students to think about what stigma-free means to them. They came out with signs, they came out with banners, and it was really, you know, a good feeling in your heart, for me at least, when you see these students come out and they have little signs that say, it's okay not to be okay, or I'm working on me. I was like, it's just amazing that I feel like most students, you know, understand what stigma-free means, whether they have a mental health issue or they don't, or they have a family member or a friend. They understand that it's okay. It's something that it's okay to talk about, and it's okay that it's something that we, you know, we encourage learning about. So, like Unity Charter, we try to offer programs through our through some of our partners at our school, for our community, for our parents. Same, we've had people, Matt Bellis, Chris Heron, Paige Rawlings, people who have gone through, you know, tragedies in their lives and have said, listen, this happened to me. I own it. This is how I got back to, you know, where I need to be. And I'm okay with that. And we can talk about that. We've had Hidden in Plain Sight, where we've, you know, let parents come up and, you know, work in a bedroom to see, you know, if they really do understand what kids are doing as far as, you know, drugs or paraphernalia. We had a program, Signs of Suicide and Depression, where we had a therapist from Bridges Counseling come in and talk to parents about some of the signs for depression and suicide. And we also have done programs on social media with slideshows about each of the social media apps that are popular with the kids. And I feel like as parents, we all see our kids on their phones and we're like, oh yeah, he's on Instagram, or oh yeah, she's on Snapchat. But when we really went through what some of those social media apps and platforms are used for and what kids are actually doing with them, some of the emojis, some of the acronyms, you know, we saw a lot of parents like, oh my God, like, I didn't know that. And that was kind of a good thing, I think, that we made parents more aware that these apps are how the kids are communicating and really what to look for. It's not all just saying hi to your friends. Sometimes, you know, there are issues with a student and their friends, and, you know, they're going back and forth on some of these social media apps, and whether it's bullying or whether it's, you know, times of crisis. You know, these apps, I think as parents, we need to be a little bit more aware of, you know, what they really have to offer. For many years, we had the Stop It app, which is sort of in line, but a little bit behind the QR code that Unity Charter had. So it was a downloadable app that students could put on their phone. And at any time, 24/7, they would have an anonymous messaging service to communicate with a crisis center. Whether they text or talked, they could reach out anytime. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable with somebody in the school or a parent, but they had the opportunity to text or to talk with somebody at a crisis center. So I felt like that app was a really good tool for our students to have. In our district, we have taken proactive steps to target the mental health concerns that have become more significant with the uprise in social media and since the pandemic. Our district has contracted 2 full-time mental health clinicians. In addition to being able to assist in emergency situations in our school and safety assessments, our clinicians are able to provide scheduled and regular therapy to students in need, as well as student families in need. A benefit of having these staff members in our school is that teachers are able to tap into their knowledge and become more vigilant in recognizing issues with a student, and in turn being more equipped to address that issue and that student. Our district also continues its relationship with St. Clair's Hospital for the support and the services that they offer. Wharton has created and staffed a position called the Coordinator of Student Services, Welfare and Attendance. This position is key in addressing student attendance, which often is a direct correlation to kids who are struggling. They don't want to come to school, they come late. So we're happy to have that position where somebody is dedicated to that student and their welfare. This position also creates a liaison and an open line of communication with the student family. So again, that family has that resource, and we have that connection with that family to, you know, to talk about students who may be in need. And there are some of the steps that Wharton School District has taken to supplement the standard role of a school guidance counselor by social emotional learning and the curriculum that we offer to our students and the way we let them express themselves. We all have such great ideas. I'm so glad that we do these meetings and we share these things, because ultimately we all have the same kids, right? They look different, different names, but they're all going through the same struggles as students in today's world. Like, we're all going through the same struggles as board members or as teachers or as parents. So I'm really glad to get all the information that we got tonight. I'm sure I forgot something, and Paul will come up and go, I don't know why you didn't talk about that, but I didn't have a slideshow. I'm sorry, but being that I'm the last stop before you leaving, you're probably happy. So thank you again, and everybody have a good night. Thanks.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you to all of our presenters. Please give them another round of applause. It means a lot to have experts like that. So the goal for this evening was really to make schools and school leaders more aware of the resources that are available, but also to encourage us all to put these conversations on the table, certainly at the board table, and help our kids talk about these things, because that's really the first step in so many cases. Everything that we've presented and more will be in a folder, I suppose. Rob, how's that going to get distributed? There'll be a Google Drive that you'll all have access to. So you're not going to be without any of this. You'll be able to contact our presenters directly in all those services. So thank you for your attention, and I hope this has been a good start to a new school year for you.
And thank you to Paul and Irene for putting that together. As Paul said before, every spring, the Board of Directors for Morris County gets together and we decide what topics we're going to present at our meetings. And this was a topic that we all agreed on instantaneously. And Irene and Paul stepped up. So putting that together. Oh, Irene saying Paul did a good job. Okay. And before we go to our final presentation from Charlene Peterson, the woman, the myth, and the legend, I just want to remind all our boards out here that in a few months, we will be looking and seeking for nominations for the Morris County Irene the Fave Excellence in Boardsmanship Award. If you have a board member on your board that you would like to recognize, please submit that nomination and they will be recognized, and one winner will be selected every year. So again, start thinking about that. Oh, Rob's telling me the application's already on the website. He's so ahead of me. It kills me. All right, everyone. At this time, again, I'm going to bring up the woman, the myth, and the legend, Charlene Peterson. And she does not have an update. We're just going to do board presentations. Before I just want to say that the board who's getting the Carol E. Larson Award, isn't it wonderful how we planned it at their school? Isn't it wonderful how that worked out?
Thank you so much. After that introduction, I'm not quite sure where to go from there, but just wanted to say what a pleasure it is to be here and to be able to present the board awards. And I'm really thankful that there's so much baseball on tonight, because I'm hoping my husband won't notice I'm missing on our anniversary tonight. So yeah, so just wanted to say again, what a privilege it is to be here with so many boards. Again, we see all the plaques that are there on the table. So there are actually 6 boards receiving board certification tonight, and then 1 board receiving the master board. And we've really never had that, that many boards be able to accomplish that much at one time. So some of it's due to the fact that New Jersey school boards just changed one of the requirements for board certification. And that was that if your board turned over and had some members turn over, then it kind of made all the credits reset and you had to start over again. So we kind of acknowledge the fact that even if you are missing some members, the members that are still there, like we have changed the culture of the board, right, by the work that we have done. So that allowed then boards who have been doing all this work to now get recognized for that work. So tonight, the boards that are receiving board certification are Kinnelon, Long Hill Township, Mendham Township, Mountain Lakes, Netcong, and Unity Charter School. And then, like she mentioned, that the Pequannock Board is receiving the Carol E. Larson Master Board Award. So one of my colleagues said, Morris County, all I ever hear is how great Morris County is. And I said, well, I have to tell you, they're a really competitive group. So that really has a lot to do with it. But we also put in the work. So I kind of went through these 7 boards and I looked at how many hours they had to accumulate to earn these certifications. And it was 144 extra hours of training and work to earn the board certification. And then that definitely pays off in the work that you are able to accomplish as a board. So usually before doing these certifications, I always talk about what the requirement is so that for those of you who haven't done it yet, can consider it. And like I said, it really starts with training together as a board team. That's what the intent of all of this is, to build us as a better team. So boards need to train together for 16 hours over a 4-year period. They also then need to complete the board self-evaluation, pass the governance section of CUSAC to demonstrate effectiveness in your governance work, to have our policy department do a wellness check on your policies, have our labor relations department have you submit one of your bargaining agreements. So it's more, a comprehensive look at the work that you do. And then also you have to be current with your mandatory training. And then for those boards, then after you've accomplished that and want to continue to move forward, like I said, this competitive group, right? Then the next opportunity then is you can earn 10 more credits or train for 10 more hours over a 2-year period. And then that is the requirement for the Carol E. Larson Master Board Award. And this award was started, it's been like 15, 20 years now, after a field service rep who passed away from cancer. And so while it would seem like, okay, if you've already been through these 16 hours in 4 years, like what's another 10 more, right? But really there has only been about 50 or so boards out of the 580 that have ever earned this award. So when we talk about it being a prestigious award, it really is demonstrate that continued commitment to training. And and that's part of this is, I often get asked well, what is the benefit of doing this? And it really is the fact that you are making that commitment. When we think about the importance of professional development for our staff, we also have to set the example, right? And demonstrate that we too are committed to professional development. And then I always say that we're setting the stage not only for your board members that are at the table now, but you're also building a culture future board members who aren't even here yet, right? You're creating a way that says, this is how our board does things around here. And it's really important then when new board members come into the fold that they are coming into a group who works together as a team. So, what I'd like to do is just kind of spend a couple minutes talking about each one of the boards, and then we'll have you come up and get your plaque. And then Ray thought it would be a really great idea to have you stay up here, and he wants to get this group shot of everyone who is earning their board certification. Yeah. So I'm going to start out with the I'm going to go in alphabetical order and start out with the Kinnelon board. So that board was first certified in 1996, again in 2017, and now in 2024. And the board set certification, some boards set it as a goal and continue to work toward it. And so every year I would go in there and we would have annual training on ethics, the superintendent's evaluation process, and do a great goal setting process. And then the board has really strong leadership, and that strong leadership carried the board through a superintendent search. And then they also had a turnover of, a significant of members, but they never really wavered. The board has a really strong commitment to student safety and student well-being. And then we also just finished doing strategic planning. Now they're going to look at revisiting their mission statement. And then I refer other boards to their website. They have this great thing called Cold Connect, which is a dashboard that gives you updates on how they're doing on their goals and what things have been accomplished. And that's something that a lot of boards are always asking, how can we help our community be aware of what we're doing? Kinnelon is a strong and close-knit community, and the same is true of the board team. So I'd like to invite the Kinnelon board team to come up, please, and please receive the plaque. and then have to go over there. Yeah, congratulations.
I lost a few members.
That's okay.
Here, come on, here. We're gonna take a picture here and then we'll send it over. All right. Oh, okay. Wait.
The vending machine, though. Let's go.
Okay. Thank you, Ross. Thank you. Yep. Okay, the next board I'm going to talk about then is Long Hill Township. So that board was first certified in 2000, again in 2017. They actually became a master board in 2019 and are starting over again. So that's one of the things I'm like, okay, we are doing so well here. We almost need to come up with something more, right? So this board actually has 28.5 credits. So when I said you needed 16, they have 28.5. And they were among the first boards in Morris County to establish a governance committee, and that's focused on the board's work. And this is the third year now that they're going to be presenting at workshop about that committee, about the work that they do. And they really have inspired other boards to form a governance committee just based on people who have gone to their presentations at workshop. In addition to a superintendent search, the board's regular training, really we have kind of taken the book, The Governance Core, and we've been kind of working through it. So talking about concepts, like a governance mindset, and how we can further do our work with student achievement. New Jersey School Boards, our policy team they have a policy tracking spreadsheet that they put together that our policy team even uses or considers to be a best practice. And on the district's website, if you want to look at all the work that they do, they have a governance pledge on there, a board timeline, and the code of governance. So all things that really demonstrate the governance work that they have in action. So it is my pleasure to invite the Long Hill Township Board. I know they have a board member online too as well, to come forward to receive your board certification.
Oh, get away from the vending machine, sorry. Yeah. We'll prop it out. Okay.
Okay, Mendham Township. So the next part I'm going to talk about is Mendham Township. So the Mendham Township Board was first certified in 2004, recertified in 2011. And then in 2022, the board set a goal to pursue certification again and actively incorporated training into their work. The board really did a lot of work with DEIB, and then provided some additional training at roles, social media, policy governance, parliamentary procedure, and the board always has great annual goal setting retreats. And then one of the things that I went there one time to talk about kind of setting, I don't know, like a code of best practices. And we got into a really great discussion where they developed standards for their board. And these standards, and I really encourage you to go onto the board page of their website and look at those standards. And it talks about the commitment that they're making as a board to effective governance, how that helps how they make decisions based on its relevance to student achievement. And then also importantly said that they also make sure that they support their professionals to be able to innovate and excel. So that's part of our work too, is to make sure that we're doing all that we can to help our staff be the best that they can be. And so they already now have a committee that they have put together that has already presented me with training opportunities and things that they're interested in doing next year. So I know they're going to just continue to move forward. So I invite the Mendham Township Board team to come forward to receive your board certification.
Now we're in the classic odds.
Who's next? Mountain Lakes. Okay, so next I'd like to talk about the Mountain Lakes Board. So they were first certified in 2000. And for some boards, like I said, earning certification is a goal with a carefully laid out plan. For the Mountain Lakes Board, it crept up on them, it crept up on me. It was just kind of, this is the work that they do all the time. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys are almost certified just based on the work that we do. And they actually had, I think it was over 20 credits as opposed to the 16. And so because some of their board members couldn't attend tonight, I went and presented the plaque at their board meeting here in September. And, you know, their board president talked, and she's here tonight, but talked about the fact of saying that it always takes more to be a Laker. And I'm like, okay, that is so true again about the board as well. And so the board, you know, worked so closely together to hire a superintendent. We had a great engagement with their community with strategic planning, always have an annual goal setting retreats, have ongoing training. I think she was just telling me tonight how they have 12 board members. They're 10 plus me and their board attorney. So, I mean, we just work so closely together. So it is my pleasure then to call the Mountain Lakes Board up here to recognize them for their work.
Okay. All right, you're in. Like I see something orange. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, this one. Certainly, no one will ever know. All right, thank you. Okay, you can here. Thank you. Oh, wait, over there. Oh, wait, don't make it. I don't want to touch
Okay, the next board I'm going to talk about is NetCong. So the NetCong board was first certified in 1999, recertified in 2017, became a master board in 2018, and here we are again, right, in 2024.
Did you say we were Carol Larson certified?
I did say that. So the board has 18.5 credits in just 3 years. And every year, I have to say, after reorg, Bernadette, I know the first phone call I'm getting is from Bernadette, and she plans out her training for the year and will have me go through my calendar. And so every year we're planning a training on ethics, the superintendent's evaluation process, doing the board self-evaluation, their board retreat. So it really is part of what their board's culture is like. But I have to say that this year Leo beat her and called me already for next July. So just for their board retreat, but okay. But, you know, I have to say that, like I said, it, you know, really does make a difference, the board being able to work together like this. And so again, guided by the stable leadership of both the board and their administration, you know, the board was able to, we underwent a strategic planning. We welcome new board members. We had a great retreat this year where we welcomed the new board members. And really, you know, the board continues to just stay focused on its work. I've been there many times where their students, I'm happy to be part of when their students come to be recognized. The board is grappling with space issues, a regionalization study. So they've got a lot going on, you know, so sometimes people don't always realize all the other things we have going on, right? In addition to our board work, that's part of our responsibility. And the whole time the board just continues to pull together and get this work done on behalf of their students. So I would like to recognize the NetCong board and have you come up as well.
Is there a cleaning apparatus behind us?
Where's she? The one for her. Okay. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, my next board certification award is for the Unity Charter School. So I looked up how many charter schools there were in New Jersey. I think I looked 3 different places and I got 3 different numbers, but I think it's somewhere, the last one I saw, it said around 85 charter schools. So there are, all the Unity Charter School is now going to be only the 3rd charter school in the state to ever earn board certification. So, I think it's quite an accomplishment of the board working together to accomplish that. And they really carry out their mission of being focused on sustainability and the development of the whole child. And I think this is really cool. The board starts out every meeting, they open every meeting by sharing compliments and acknowledgements. And so I think that's really a great way to start out on a positive note, and then that carries through the rest of the meeting. The board works really well together and is engaged in training. And we've talked about committee effectiveness, finance, ethics, roles. We invited their community in for strategic planning, and I think that was the first time I ever had to we were using a Padlet, and everybody was on line and working through it, but it was great. Every year there's an annual board retreat with I think our best one sitting at Lake Copatcong, right? We had a good experience there. The board has an effective governance committee. They set annual goals. They have action plans to track their completion and continually looking at how to increase their governance effectiveness. So again, it's with great pleasure that I ask the Unity Charter School Board of Trustees to please come forward. Please.
Take it in. All right, congratulations. Congratulations. We can't go this way. Oh, no.
Show you the middle, perfect. Beautiful. My son is here.
You don't think I will?
Thank you, guys. Okay. So now we come to the Carol E. Larson Board Award for the Quantic Township Board. So they were first certified in 2004, recertified in 2016. They also earned the Carol E. Larson Award before in 2017. The board got certified again in 2023 and then immediately set a goal to earn the Carol E. Larson Master Award again. And so they accomplished it in 1 year. So you get 2 years to do it. So really appreciated the fact that the board really made a commitment to make this happen. And I was looking back and I'm thinking, this is the only board in the 10 years or 11 years that I've been with New Jersey school boards that I was able to give you the only board I'm able to give you a Master Board Award twice during that time period. So I have to say, that the board challenged me with being able to come up with trainings for a high-performing board throughout the year. And one of the things that really resonated with me is that one of their board members had said, it was all I hear about, like certification, like seems like, that we're really focused on that. And then said, you know what, but now I really get it, that all of the work that we've done has helped us to prepare for things that haven't even come before us yet, but we know that we have the skills and that we now have the background to be able to respond to that. So I thought that was, a really kind of great way to sum this up. And then one of the trainings that I did there was we had different scenarios, and it was kind of like, what should the board do? And so we went around and they responded to all of them. And then as I was walking out, one of their community members kind of followed me out and said, they were really impressive in their responses and the way that they answered and the way that they understood, and the things that they talked about. She's like, I'm really proud of them. So I thought that was, just really a great way to kind of help demonstrate the benefit and the commitment that we do make to training. So just again, one of the other things that's kind of unique about Pequannock Township is that they're one of the few boards in Morris County who operate as a committee of the whole. But from their perspective, that, is the most effective way that they find, for them to really do their great work as a board. And And also as individual board members, they have really made a strong commitment to training. They have 2 certified board leaders, 3 master board members, and 1 certified board member. So they have another board in Essex County who has 3 certified board leaders, and like, they think they're all that. I'm like, no, you got Pequannock right on your heels. So just wanted to, again, with great pleasure, call up the Pequannock Township Board to please come up and receive the grill.
And again, thank you for having it at your place.
Stay away from the.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Good, good,
Nice
good.
to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Diabetic guy. You should.
Yeah, otherwise he's way in the corner, yes.
Oh, you guys should take it in front of your back.
Without you.
Yeah,
No,
that's fine.
Beautiful.
Perfect, thank
All right,
you.
now let's all go over here.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Now we're gonna go do the pull group shot, right? Yeah.
Before we take the picture, Ray would like to come up and say a few words.
No problem. And then Charlene, you'll be laying on her lap.
I just want to say like 2 minutes. Charlene talked about how competitive you are and how you're into all this. As the state officers know, like Shanta and I were in Monmouth County last night. I go to a lot of different counties. This is very impressive how many certified boards you have, no matter what the rule changes are. There's one thing that you should know. She talked about 144 hours that they all put in. You know, each one had about 20 hours or so. Charlene had 144 of those hours. The one thing that I think does stand out is Charlene Peterson makes an effort for you guys to become certified board members. And so she should get a round of applause too. I didn't tell her I was going to do this because she would have hit me.
Been a long night. It's been a great night. It's been a lot of information handed out. I hope everyone's able to utilize it. Our next meeting will be in December at Morristown High School. The topic will be fantastic, I'm sure. I don't have my paper, so I can't remember it off the top, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. Enjoy Halloween. See you at workshop. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Election day.